All right, so one of the absolute most common questions that I get, and I think the topics that really stump people or, make you kind of freeze in your tracks is corresponding, communication, reaching out to people, the do's and don'ts of what to say, things like that. So I'm going to kind of break down what helped me, continuously promote throughout this last year and, get up to the VIP ranks, because it's really not that tricky. And I know that, we really kind of reiterate over and over not to overcomplicate it past completing those steps to success. But some of you guys, you're like, I get that, but what I want to know is how to complete the steps to success. So, of course, we talk about just reaching out, getting those 4 loyal customers in your first month. And like we've said multiple times, that's your warmest market. That's your friends and your family and, people who are just going to want to support you. But then moving on to step 3 and really getting those distributors, how are you guys signing? How are you signing people up? How are you sealing the deal? So basically, you're going to want to have your 100s list at all times, as we've talked about, and it's super, super crucial that you are continuously updating it. So as people are signing up during the month and they're ordering or they're joining your team, you're going to want to keep replacing it. So at all times, I have at least an updated 100s list, if not more, because I'm continuously adding friends on social media and reaching out and going out, and blitzing and, hey, let's connect on social media, things like that. So really use it as a tool for business growth. But then beyond that, what I do is I have kind of a scale of how comfortable I am with people. So if it's someone who's a really close friend or I've known for a really long time and, we've been Facebook friends for years or whatever, then they're going to be, a 5 to 10 on my comfort level. But then if it's someone who's newer or someone I recently met or is a friend of a friend or something, they're going to be at a 1 to 5. So of course I'm going to reach out a little bit differently, whether it's someone who I'm like, girl, listen, like, we have been friends for a long time. Like, I know you trust me and I know you've seen this journey. Like, it's about time that we at least talk. When are you free? Something like that. Like, make it super assertive. But then if it's someone who you're not as comfortable with, and then that's whenever you're going to want to do more of like a ease into the water. You're not just going to cannonball in. So basically what I want to talk about is those people who were easing into the water. You're going to start at the shallow end and wade to the deep end. So if that's the case, then whenever I know a lot of times we talk about not cold messaging people, which is basically if someone is just liking your pictures on Instagram here or there, or especially Instagram, then I don't want you to immediately message them and say, hey girl, thanks for the like. Would you like to buy a product? Or would you be interested in such and such? Like, no, they probably don't. They just want to like your picture, and like they're just scrolling through and like, that's great. You want to establish a relationship first. Like if I liked a picture of, somebody's new car and then they're all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, like, do you want to buy this car? Or like, it's just too much. Or if you're looking at a clothing item in a store and then someone comes over and is like, oh, here, I'll ring that up for you. It's like, I'm just looking at things. So you don't want to turn people off by being too assertive, but you don't want to just dawdle around. So what I always do is I talk about being a distributor at first. That's my 100% go-to. So I literally will just kind of ask them, like, I find something that is relevant to their life. So I'll look at their feed a little bit and I'll kind of see, okay, cool, like they just got married or they're having a child or they're taking vacations here or, they have a dog or whatever. And then I'll ask them a question. And regardless of if I care about the answer or not, I'm going to ask that question and I'm going to establish a relationship. Hey girl, I saw that you just got married. Your bouquets are so beautiful. Who did your flowers? Like, I'm not getting married, but like it opens up kind of a gateway of conversation. Like, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute. Where'd you get it spayed? Or, did you adopt or whatever? And just kind of like create a conversation. Then just keep asking different questions about them. How are you doing? What are you doing for work? Are you loving it? Is it what you expected? Like, it's been so long, or, we should catch up sometime or whatever. And just like create like a warm, friendly conversation. Ask questions because people become a lot more comfortable and more open as they're answering questions, and everyone likes answering questions about themselves. And if they don't want to answer questions about themselves, then they're not going to want to ask them to other people, so they're probably not going to be that good of a distributor. So basically, you're vetting them, but in like a really kind, friendly way to where you're setting up the ability to pounce later. So I ask about that, and then I kind of present it to where, once they're talking about what they're doing for work, or, if they're liking it, or their family, or whatever, then I wait until I have an opportunity. So if they talk about not loving their job, or, having a child, or wishing they could travel more, or, anything like that, or just like having student loans, or XYZ, then that's my opportunity. And then that's whenever I say, oh my gosh, and I always make it this like exclamation where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had this really awesome idea. I am working from home and I'm paying all my bills. I'm completely debt free. I actually work from a house I bought because of this business. You would be so much fun to work with. Have you ever thought about, just making extra money from your phone? And then it's just like this cool idea that I'm like, whoa, I just like had this great idea. We could be business partners. Like, you would have so much fun on my team. Have you even ever heard of It Works? And I make it like this excited conversation. And they're like, wait, what exactly do you do? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I literally like make YouTube videos and just go to coffee with people, and all you do is like get people to like build a business with you, and then you share these plant-based products, and let me show you some of the products. These are my favorite ones, whatever. And then if they start listening about the business, talking about the business, then that's where you just kind of like keep going, keep it simple, tell them how it's a risk-free investment. You pay $100, they send you over $100 worth of product. You don't have to sign a contract. There's nothing that's like binding you, and immediately you have an ability to make cash. You have ability to make $100 bonuses, different things like that. You have commission, so it's like you're using products, you're being a product of the product. You have all these ways of making money. It's amazing. You are working on your own schedule. It's so much fun. You have a life of freedom, just different things like that. So you want to make it super appealing. You're creating an image of a lifestyle that every single person thinks is too good to be true, and then you're telling them how to get there. And you're saying, don't believe me? Like, this is what's happening to me. This is what's happening to Christy, my leader. This is what's happening to Lori, like blah, blah, blah. And you use real life examples. So it's really important to know stories, because if it's someone who's single and, in their 20s or 30s, tell them about me. If it's someone who, didn't love their job and has multiple children, tell them about Genevieve. If it's someone who owned their own business but had debt and just wanted to spend more time with their kids or with their husband, tell them about Lori. Like, find a story of one of your upline that, relates to different people in different walks of life, and then use that as a way to draw the different people in that you're talking to. So if that's the case, and they're like listening about the distributorship, awesome. Then get them on, one of your new PDT calls that one of your leaders are hosting. Get them to an online party, meet them for coffee. And I don't do this whole like, oh yeah, like let me know if you'd be interested, da da da. I literally say, you know what? This business is literally booming right now. I would love to have you on the team. I'm free Wednesday from 4 to 6 and Friday from 3 to 5. What time are you free? And I ask them exactly then, what time are you free? Or if I'm like, if they're out of state, I'm like, hey, let's hop on the phone. It's so much easier for me to explain it like that. I'm free this day and this day. When are you free? And I make them give me a time. And if they're like, I don't really know, I'm like, you know what? You don't have to know. It's like a 20-minute conversation. It'll just give you all the answers, that you'll need to make your decision. And I get them on the phone, or I get them in person. So that's so much easier. And then that's whenever you can just like, spell it out to them, and they can hear your enthusiasm, things like that. So, okay, let's say you're talking to someone and they're like, you know what? I'm so happy for you. This is awesome that you're doing It Works. I have absolutely no interest in joining the business. I love my job right now. Whatever. That's fine. I never am like, oh, okay, like, thanks. Like, I always tell them, I'm like, you know what, girl? I completely understand. I was not interested in joining when my enroller first asked me either. I understand that timing is everything, and this is just not the right time for you. So I'm sort of like, I understand this isn't right for you, but I'm not like thinking like, oh no, I'm going to cross you off the list. I'm sort of like, cool, like we'll talk later, without being pushy. And then I immediately ask, what's your address? I'm like, I understand, like timing is everything. By the way, like, what's your address? I'm sending out green samples this week, so why don't I just throw one in the mail for you? And I get her address, and if the conversation is leading to this point where she gives me her address, then I'm like, awesome, this this is absolutely one of my very favorite products. You know, the company was built on our skinny wraps like 15 years ago. It's what launched us, but the greens are super awesome, so I think you're gonna love them. And then, you know, I'll kind of like wait, see where the conversation goes, or if they don't say anything, then I'm like, you know what? I sell the wraps for $25 samples, but would you want to try one for free? And then if she says yes, then I'm like, okay, cool. Why don't we just set up a little girls' night? I do them all the time. They're super fun. It's a great excuse for you to get some of your friends together, and I'll come over and bring a little goodie box with a free wrap and some energy drinks and greens for everybody to try. And then, you know, it could just turn into like a cute little girls' night and everyone can catch up. And that's that. So then that's how I start scheduling parties. And then as I'm at that party, then that's whenever I do my little spiel, and then I make an announcement. Hey, you know, Susan got a free wrap sample for hosting this little get together. I had so much fun getting to know all of you guys, or, you know, seeing you guys again. Would anybody else here be interested in having, you know, having a little get together, and then I'll give you some free products as well. And then that's how I just present that. So it makes it super simple. So of course, like, I start with the distributorship. If someone's not interested, I start with, hey, let me send you a free sample, give me your address. And then if they're interested in that, then I'm like, you know what, why don't we take it a step further, and I'll just give you a free wrap, and we can like get together and catch up and have a girls' night. So that's that. And then if there's somebody who absolutely is like not responding, then that's whenever, you know, in a couple of days I would say, hey, I like didn't mean to offend you. If I did, please let me know. I'm, you know, just really excited about this business, you know, or whatever. Just something simple, and, you know, keep it short, sweet. And that's whenever you're going to start implementing the 2x2x2 rule of, you know, 2 days later, follow up and be like, hey, like, you know, I know you were interested. And then 2 weeks later, that's whenever you're like, hey, did I offend you? Like, I'm so sorry if I did. And then 2 months later, just kind of circle back. So that's kind of how I sort of broke it down and ended up filling my charts, because I talked to people about the distributorship. They get super excited. I tell them they could basically use products for free. I get them on the phone. I meet them in person. I make it sound really appealing. I'm like, girl, I was the biggest skeptic, and now I'm like living the life because this business rocks. And if they're just totally not ready for that, then I'm like, you know what? You don't have to be ready for that. That's fine. Let me send you some free products. These are awesome. And then that's whenever I schedule parties, things like that. And if they're out of state and you can't say, hey, let's have a party at your house, then you could say, I do online parties all the time. Why don't you come to this one? I always do free giveaways, things like that. And you could even schedule private online parties with her being one of your hostess, and then she can invite her friends to a Facebook event that you host, and then you can send her a free wrap, things like that. So just get creative. Use these wrap rewards for good use to build your business, to, you know, sign those distributors, and then show them how easy it is for them to sign distributors, things like that. Be excited and be confident. And don't be afraid to reach out to people, but just remember, when you are reaching out to them, if they're one of those people who are a 1 to 5 in the comfort level, you're going to have to kind of wade in there, you know, like strike up conversation. Don't just be like, hey girl, I saw that you liked my picture. Do you want to order something? Like, no, they don't want to order something. They just wanted to like your picture, you know? So just when you're communicating with someone, give them the courtesy that you would want extended to you. And just think, like, I always say things, I'm like, if I'm writing something and someone sent it to me, would I respond to them? Things like that, you know? So if someone's just asking me about how I'm doing, and then they just want to share this awesome opportunity, I'm not going to be offended by them. I'm like, wow, that's really kind of you to think of me. Like, I literally would be flattered if someone was like, when Lori reached out to me and was like, hey girl, I don't know what you're doing, but like, I think you would really like be good at this business. I had no interest in joining, but I was like, it's at least really nice she thought of me, you know? So just think of it like that. Like, you're not pressuring people. You're not, I mean, unless you are pressuring and you are annoying, then like change your ways and don't be like that, because you're sharing a really cool opportunity. This is like a once in a lifetime business. It's unbelievable. So understand, I've said it before, you are all brokering hope. You are offering a really, really cool thing for people. So don't let your words get in the way of a really simple message of hope and of freedom that you're offering. So I hope this helps. Listen to it, reach out to people with confidence, change your ways if you have to, adjust a little bit, and make sure that your 100s list is constantly filled, because it is crucial for you to continuously be reaching out to people if you want to grow. All right.